Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall, white alien. I am making these videos since almost 2 years now, and a lot of information about the extraterrestrial race of the tall whites has been given to you, plus some subliminal influence and meditation techniques you yourself can use to cleanse your mind and calm yourself and rethink and reflect on your position as a human being on this planet, particularly when it comes to the influence of outside forces in form of the media and education, politics and religion. If you seriously were watching these videos, you might have had a positive effect and a cleansing of your mind and learned much. But besides all this, there always have been questions from my viewership about my heritage and my home planet, and why this question comes often. We, the tall white aliens, are so elusive and very rarely even spotted by humans. And because of the closeness in the resemblance, even the ones who spot tall white aliens at times are not quite sure if they're dealing with a natural human being or something which is not from this planet. And eventually people, after thinking about their experience of seeing somebody like myself, will after a while entertaining these thoughts, push us aside and go on with their daily life. Well, I would like today to give you a bit of background information concerning the tall white extraterrestrial race and why we are so rarely ever being detected. Well, a bit of 400,000 years ago, we came the first time to this planet after searching on the surface of many different planets for a special metal. And this metal is gold, or oro in name. We did not look for this metal as a storage facility for wealth or some other means of enriching ourselves, but there was a dire necessity for collecting and mining and processing gold. We needed this metal to use it to shield our atmosphere on our own home planet from the deadly radioactive rays which would be carried with the sun winds to our surface and would kill all the sensitive life form which is much lighter in structure than, for example, a human, and kill all these life forms on our planet and would practically have a complete destructive outcome. The gold, which would have been turned into a very special gas, would shield our atmosphere and did shield our atmosphere to an extent that at least some of us had the opportunity to survive. But for that, we had to find the right planet, and one of the planets has been planet Earth. We brought our own workers, which started to mine and process gold and then ship it to our planet for just quite similar to the technical means you have on planet Earth right now, distributed in the atmosphere by flying machines, just like you see right now in the sky these chemtrails. Well, this process was taken care of, and the tall white aliens came in their original form, which is not quite, I must correct myself, the original form, because the very original form of a tall white is being a much, much softer form, and I described this before. But this form, when we come into contact with the atmosphere from planet Earth, turns into a more rigid skin. And this more rigid skin would give it the appearance of a reptile skin or leather form, which you can see on crocodiles or certain other reptiles which are originated on this planet. And this is also the reason the first creatures on planet Earth, the creatures which we encountered in the African continent, looked at us at a serpent race because of our resemblance. It is just simply like a person who lives in a very dry atmosphere, maybe very close to a heater. They will also experience a drying up of their skin and a roughness on certain parts of their body. Only that in our case it was much more severe, because our atmosphere on the own planet is gassy and also much more suitable for us. This said, we started to mine these metal substance gold on planet Earth, and we needed more workers. So since we are an expert in DNA enhancement and genome splicing, we would take the most suited species on planet Earth. It was a half ape in Africa, and turned it into a worker. For this we had to also bring in our own DNA to give it some limited intelligence so he can function as a worker. And later on there were certain adjustments in the DNA done. The problem was that also the idea in the beginning was to create more workers. We should bring in the possibility of multiplication by sexual act, not anticipating the enormous amount of people which this would eventually result in. People have the tendency to multiply like rodents, and this was not known in the very beginning. So today you have 7.2 billion people on Earth, and we, the tall white aliens who are still having stations on this planet, are a very small minority. Plus the intelligence of the human being has increased over the millenniums, and they are, in their mass itself and their technical development, becoming more and more a threat to us, the tall white aliens on planet Earth. This is also the reason we cannot, in our original form, which of course changed a bit through the different atmospheric situation, in the form of a reptile roam this planet, because we would be easily detected and hunted down by the humans, which are in nature a very aggressive and warrior group. For that reason, we decided to, and this is another subject for another video, how that is done, decided to withdraw and switch bodies, as I am right now speaking out of the body of a human hybrid called Carl. So we would blend into the population and go on with our duties without being detected by the general public. Naturally, eventually, and in some parts, we do not completely resemble humans, because high developed hybrids, which are human physically human, also look a bit different than the ordinary, less developed species. There are different human races, as you know, and not all races have been enhanced by their DNA as much as others. So you have some different primitive human life forms, and then also you have higher developed ones. But the highest developed hybrids, which we created, are the ones who host us when we come in, when our spiritual being possesses these bodies. We only choose the highest developed ones. This is the only way we can mix in the population and still have some kind of control over the outcomes of the affairs of planet Earth. I hope this bit of information gives you some clarity why there is so little of us, the tall white aliens, in our reptile form be seen. Except sometime it breaks through, and even our human host is being overwhelmed by our original form, and for a moment there might be some blurred vision of that what is beyond. Well, this was the information for today, and I hope it gives you some more clarity about the spiritual path which we, the tall white aliens, are going and trying to also transmit to our highest developed hybrids. I will speak in one of the next videos. Rudolf of Germany.